welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and welcome to my October 2025 Fall Garden Tour. By the way, just a little shout out to YouTube. What do y'all think of this clapperboard that YouTube sent me? Isn't it so cute? Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining Grow Roots. If you haven't watched my channel before, hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to join us. But today I am taking you on a fall garden tour of my backyard garden and my front yard garden. Hopefully I won't get too chatty and I can keep this video in a decent length. But I want to start out updating you on this brand new garden that I installed probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks ago. I think that's about how long it's been here, but it's been doing so well. Not everything I think is going to survive, but most things are surviving and thriving. So I really wanted to show that to you first. So this is an area of my backyard that used to be covered in a trampoline, and my kids have outgrown it. It's also pretty run down. It needed a lot of replacement parts, and so we just decided to take it down and put our shed there, which is there, holding all of my garden supplies. It's so nice, y'all. Going back to the garden, we installed a new garden area, and so coming up over here, I have a border of lemon balsedum going all around, and it is just a beautiful pop of color. Lemon balsedum is an excellent border plant, and it's here in North Texas, it can do sun or shade, and it's also evergreen. So it's like the perfect border plant, really. Now, I have a couple spots. It's also salt tolerant, but which means usually dog urine tolerant. However, like these two, I think got trampled on or peed on, and so I think throughout the growing season, I may have to replace a lemon balsedum here and there, but I love it so much that, and all of the rest of them, they're doing amazing. So it's just an awesome plant. And then coming behind that is Stella d'Oro daylily. They are just a rock star yellow daylily. I think they're going to look beautiful coming up behind that lemon balsedum. And pretty soon here, I'm going to plant some spring bulbs. I have a spring bulb detailed video. I'll pop the link up on the right corner of your screen. If you want to check that out to see what spring bulbs I purchased, go for it. But I'm going to be doing some daffodils and muscari in between these daylilies, which I think will look amazing in the spring. And then coming up in this third layer over here, I have Sweet William grown from seed this year, and it's going to give me some fall blooms, which is unbelievable. I've done this 2 other times. It's never given me fall blooms before. It's usually blooms in the spring, but I'm super excited for that. They're just super healthy and doing really well there. Back there, it's doing okay, but that is an oak leaf hydrangea, Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangea. Just going to be a gorgeous hydrangea, but I recognize it's dealing with some fungal leaf issues from overhead watering. It's no longer getting overhead water, but and with the transplant, it's like, this is new growth. The new growth is doing well. So I think it's going to do fine. And that will get, what did it say? Is it 6 to 8 feet tall and wide? Yeah, so that's the color of those panicles. I really hope I achieve that color, because here in North Texas we don't always, but I'm super excited. It has lots of room to grow back there, and it's gonna look amazing just filling out that space. One plant that is shocking me is this blanket flower. This is Gaillardia grown from seed, and I just love this perennial, y'all. This is a perennial flower. It was one of my first to bloom in the spring, and it's just still going strong. And I feel like this plant has doubled since I planted it. I'm going to see if I can pop a picture of it on the screen when I first planted it, but I definitely feel that it didn't even feel the transplant. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just still going. I am noticing with our cooler nights, these petals sometimes are getting a little bit short on them, but still new blooms. See? Oh my goodness. This is an excellent plant and an excellent perennial. Really, I'm so loving how it looks there. And then it's right next to some little spire Russian sage. There are 2 of them there, and I love that look of the Russian sage with the blanket flower. That color palette is beautiful. These leaves are super interesting too. They're kind of a lighter green, almost bluish color. And then of course these flowers are unbelievable. They're so beautiful. Pollinator magnet for sure. I've got lots of new growth on those, so they're doing quite well with that transplant as well. And then coming over here, we've got Texas rock rose. There's 2 of those as well. And it's just amazing. I am so happy with this side. This is my full sun side of the garden bed, and it's just looking amazing, honestly. Right in front of that Texas rock rose, I've got Veronica, and I don't know what variety it is. It wasn't labeled, but it's just absolutely stunning. I love this color so much, and it's continuing to give me new blooms. Look. There we go. Just amazing. Here's a shot of that whole garden bed. The full sun area is doing amazing. I've got a Shasta daisy right here, and this is doing quite well. Not blooming, not a lot of blooms. I'm hoping next year, once it gets established, it'll do really well. And then coming over here, I have more Sweet William grown from seed. This one not putting on any blooms, but still looking beautiful. Okay, so this part shade / shade garden, here we go. Shasta daisy we talked about. I have another Sweet William, and the same one. These usually get really tall, but because our nights are getting cooler, again, never had a fall bloom from Sweet William before, naturally, do you know what I mean? But this one is setting up a beautiful panicle, not quite as full as we would see in the spring. I think that's because, you know, this isn't the typical time, really, but that's gorgeous. It will be evergreen also, this Sweet William. So dotted throughout this garden. I love that I have this, and I think it's so beautiful. Dianthus is amazing, and Sweet William, the variety of Dianthus, is amazing as well. Over here, I have 2 Summer Pastels Yarrow. This one struggled all season long. It also struggled a little bit in that transplant, but now that it's going, I think it's going to be fine. It's going to get established, and it's looking great. That one was planted in a pot with some variegated vinca and also some creeping Jenny. Creeping Jenny kind of died in the transplant, but I see it's coming back. And then this variegated vinca will probably start spreading and becoming a ground cover in here. And this yarrow is doing fantastic. These were grown from seed, winter sown this year. And then coming over here, how sweet is this? This is Cheyenne Spirit Echinacea. I have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And this one, again, you're going to see shorter blooms on a lot of these perennials because when they're blooming in the fall, the nights are cooler, and it's just making those buds shorter. But look how beautiful that color is. I love Cheyenne Spirit. I've wanted it for a long time, so I'm glad I have 3 planted here. This one, I don't know if it's going to make it. There's also, let me take this out. This little clover weed is trying to grow in there, huh? That's not helping. But anyway, my dog likes to chew echinacea. I do see, I feel like that's new growth. Yeah, that's new growth in there. So it's doing okay. It just, again, some plants survive the transplants better than others. We also are still getting very hot during the day, even though it is fall. We are still in the 90s. The upper 80s and early 90s in like mid-October. It's crazy. And then here's the other one that is also giving me some new blooms. You can see where my dog has chewed the leaves. It's actually good for her. It's for her immune system, but man, not good for the plant. And then that's a different color. Cheyenne Spirit can get anywhere from this pink color to this orangey color to a yellow color and a red color. So really cool type of echinacea. I love it. Coming over here is more of my shade / part shade. This one may not make it. This is Invincible Mini Mauvette. I'll pop a picture of it on the screen for you. I'm so excited if it does survive. It is not looking great. Not really sure why. Some plants just do not survive that transplant. And I feel like this new growth, this is new, so it's promising, but coming back in the spring from this, I just really don't know. My experience with these small hydrangea shrubs is if they don't take the transplant well, then they don't in the fall, because I do it in the fall, then they don't come back in the spring. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And then this one, I think it's okay. This is Firelight Tidbit, so panicle hydrangea. This is a smooth hydrangea, which I've never grown before. This is a panicle hydrangea. No, Gummy, get out. See, here's my problem. How'd you get back out? Go. Sneak peek of my house, y'all. I just brought the dogs in and the rainbows are on the walls. I just wanted to show you really quick. I have a chandelier right there that the morning sun comes through, and at the right times of the year it broadcasts rainbows all over my walls. So there's a sneak peek of my house. Yay. Okay, we're gonna go back to the garden. But I love this one because it is only going to get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. That's going to be lovely. And then I have Perfectamundo Fuchsia Carpet Azalea here. It's doing, again, it's not doing amazing. I was hoping for some buds because it normally would bloom about this time, but I transplanted it right before bloom time, so that's not great. Got some new growth down there. We'll see how it goes. Over here, this is just a pot. I actually think I'm gonna take this away, but it had a limelight hydrangea that I trained into a standard. It died in the summertime. Oh no, there is no, like, I scratched the trunk of it initially when I placed it back here, and it was green, and now I tried scratching the trunk just yesterday and it's dead. It's fully dead. So I'm gonna take that out. This pot, I'm going to replace it with a different pot because I picked one up on clearance, and I picked 2 of them up, so I have one on each side. This, I will place a pot here and it will eventually have a Japanese maple in it. This will be a perfect spot for a Japanese maple. I think it will look lovely. This is an understory tree? Yeah, an understory area underneath the tree. So it's going to do amazing there. But these were my annuals in this pot. They're still going strong. That dichondra and white cascading vinca still doing really, really well. And coming over here, 2 more plants. This one is so awesome, y'all. It's struggling just a little bit because I'm seeing brown tips and I'm not loving that. And I'm not seeing any new growth, so I'm not loving that either. But anyway, this is Paisley Pup Dog Hobble. It is a part shade to full shade plant, shrub, evergreen, and look at that variegated foliage. It also blooms really tiny white blooms in the spring, which I haven't seen yet. I hope that this will make it and that it'll bloom for me next spring, because that will just be awesome. They get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide as well. And then that is a Macrophylla hydrangea, big leaf hydrangea that I popped there. It was propagated. Again, did not take the transplant well, but these, I have found these to be pretty hardy. So I think it will be okay. I think it needs a little bit of iron, but this late in the season, I'm worried about giving that to it. So I may just let it go dormant and then really fertilize it well and add some iron to that soil to help it next year. So that is the new garden bed. Honestly, doing amazing. Let's move on to my full shade garden bed here. I have some pots, which I love, and each one has a different hosta in it. These hostas are going dormant. It's just, that's what they do this time of year. They don't look the best, but they really performed this year. And I'm in North Texas, which a lot of people say you can't grow hostas here, but as long as they're in full shade, I really do think they do well. And especially in pots. In the ground, I have lost a couple hostas. In pots, I haven't lost them. So anyway, this one is a Elegans Blue hosta, and the leaves just get ginormous. Absolutely beautiful. I just love the look of these leaves. This one is called Elabroic hosta. Again, smaller leaf shape, but much fuller. It's so gorgeous. This one is the one I am a little worried about. It started going dormant a little too soon. Something was wrong. I hope it'll come back. They're pretty tough. They've been in here a couple years, so it should be pretty well established, but whew, it's looking rough. But this is Proven Winners Shadowland Woo La La. And then this one is Proven Winners Shadowland Diamond Lake. Very similar to the blue elegans, honestly. And I'm glad I put them both on the ends because they're almost exactly the same, to be honest. But a little more roughly edged to the leaf and looking amazing for this time of year for sure. And then I have some plants planted all throughout as well. Shade plants that do well in North Texas. They're all perennial. And so this one is the star of the show for me. This is an autumn fern, and this has been in the ground 1 year. 1 year, you guys. I'm just now realizing that. I think it's only been in here 1 year. It's doing so well. Autumn fern. This one was evergreen for me last winter. I hear they're semi-evergreen here in North Texas. And it's just, it loves this spot for sure. I have some liriope. This one bloomed for me. The bloom is spent, but yeah, it's starting to take over that liriope as well. More liriope, and then I have a hydrangea, a big leaf hydrangea here. Again, this is one I propagated. It started out looking like the one I just showed you, and I planted it here in spring, or did I plant it last fall? It could have been last fall, but it has tripled in size this year. This is an experiment for me. This is absolute full shade. It does not get sun in this location back here, and I wanted to see if it would bloom. It's definitely growing, and I still love the look of them even if they don't bloom. So it's going to be a fabulous plant no matter what, but in full shade I want to see if it blooms. So there it is. And there's another autumn fern. This one literally was put here in July in the hot heat of the summer. It took the transplant like a champ, and here is new growth color. Like, it's just so beautiful. Spectacular plant. More liriope. That one died, so I may replace that with another. Here's giant leopard plant. Getting eaten a little bit by snails for sure, but doing really well. This time of year they do get yellow blooms, but this one, it just isn't a great bloomer for me. I don't know why. It looks like it's doing fine, but I'm not getting those yellow blooms. So, And then coming over here, more liriope, and this is Sea of Hearts Forget-Me-Not Brunnera. So it had, this old growth had been eaten by the snails and slugs, even though I put down snail bait. Or I use, not sluggo, cories, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, all that new growth, it's a rock star. I love Brunnera. I don't know why I don't see it more in North Texas, but it's a really great plant. It's been very tough, honestly. Hi, Chloe. Hi, sweetie. All right. Here's my backyard gardens that are somewhat well established. I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker because I want to get through this video with all of my gardens. But I have a spirea there that is called a double play Big Bang. It has a weird arching habit, not the same growth habit as the other spirea that I have on this side, which is double play Candy Corn Spirea. It's doing excellent this year. This is the biggest I've seen it. It's supposed to get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. I'd say it's right at its maximum right now. Oh, Chloe, just she's so sweet. Look at that. Hi, baby. Okay, so what she is sniffing in and getting into, which she loves this plant. This is dwarf Mexican petunia. Oh, she's so cute, y'all. I just get so distracted. Anyway, this is a pink variety. These blooms haven't quite opened up for the day yet. They get new blooms every day, and then they shed their blooms. And so it's just an awesome plant. Really another great border plant, honestly. Does great in full sun to part shade. Summer Pastels Yarrow, planted from seed this year, doing fabulous. We've got an Echinacea purpurea. I'm letting some of those seed heads stay on the plant for the winter and the birds. I have a hollyhock over here, y'all. This was planted, winter sown, planted, you know, from seed this year. and it's taken a beating. It's been eaten by snails, covered up by the spirea, covered up by the vines. It looks like it had, what are those called? Do you see the pattern in the leaves? I'll put the name of that pest on the screen. I can't remember. It's like a borer, I forget. But anyway, going strong, and I hope to see some hollyhock blooms in the spring. So that'll be so fun. I have a ground cover all throughout this garden bed that started out as 3 plants. It is Plumbago ceratostigma. Let me see if I find any that are still blooming. It's got a bright blue bloom, and that one, you can't really, there we go. You see that blue color? It has a new bloom coming. And then this time of year, it's bloomed from spring, late spring, all the way until now. Now is when it just petered out, but the old blooms look that color. But the leaf foliage supposedly turned a bright red color. Now, this is the first year I've had it fully established in my garden, so I'm excited. Last year, they didn't really turn that red color. They just turned brown and fell off. It's a deciduous ground cover. Does fantastic in the heat. It shows no signs of heat stress. Pests don't like it. Like, it's not touched by any pest. It's an amazing ground cover, y'all. But it will fill in. So just know that. Like, if you want a ground cover that does what it says and covers all the ground, then it's a great one for Texas. And it's blue blooms. It's just spectacular all through the year. I have a Sweet William plant there. This is a white swan echinacea. I have echinacea dotted all throughout this. I have a, this one's my favorite, and it's starting to put on a bloom. This one is, I think, something orange, but it's my favorite color of my echinacea so far. Coming back around, let's see. Oh, here's a plumbago that's flowering. Okay. That's what that Plumbago ceratostigma bloom looks like. And it's all over the place in the summer. Like, this whole, the bottom of this looks completely blue. It's so beautiful. I have a dianthus here that's starting to bloom. I have another echinacea right here that's definitely seen better days. But this is a powwow echinacea. I have another powwow echinacea there. And you can see what those blooms look like. They're beautiful. I have a Sweet William back there that is like 3 years old. Also, say hi to our friendly garden spider. Chloe's like messing with the web right now. I can't even get into this garden bed to show you because she has her web completely spread across this garden bed. So yeah, I'm not getting in there, y'all. But over there, can you see that? It's going away, but it's a peony. The brown right there, it's just going dormant, and I know it's just done. So there's a peony. It has never bloomed for me. This is its 3rd year and did not bloom this year. It better bloom next year, y'all. I do have like a blank spot there, and I was trying to think like what died. I didn't have a blank spot there earlier. I know I had larkspur, which is a spring blooming plant, but anyway, I'm gonna put a I'll show you my purple verbena, Verbena bonariensis. I'm gonna put a Verbena bonariensis there to kind of fill in that perennial spot. I do have a container right there in the middle, and again, some white cascading vinca, dichondra, and it's growing a panicle hydrangea, a limelight hydrangea that I'm tried to train to a standard. I don't know if I'm going to keep it there. Maybe try it until it dies. But I've decided that after 3 of my limelight hydrangeas dying in full sun, I've decided they just can't take full sun here in North Texas. So I'm gonna give up. When this one dies, it's going out. But it survived the season, and it even has new growth. I only allowed 4 branches on it this year. Maybe that's why, because it's sending all of its energy into just 4 branches. Once it completely branches out like that, I think it's gonna die in full sun. So I'm just prepared for that, but they are gorgeous and I love them. I'll get to the containers in just a moment. I really do want to cover the containers, y'all, because I promised you a container garden tour in September and it just didn't happen. So bear with me here. But coming over to this spot in the garden, I had some queen lime zinnias that really are taking off. They didn't do well this summer. It was just kind of covered up by this Echinacea purpurea, but now they're looking gorgeous and putting on new blooms. Look at that, wow. But this Echinacea purpurea, it's because it's kind of, you know, it's seen better days. I'm leaving the seed heads on them again for winter time for the birds to gather the seeds. You can see they've gathered a lot of these seeds. They're ready to go, but some of them have already been picked. And then let's not ignore the vines. So I have 2 vines growing back here. Confederate Star Jasmine, which is doing amazing this year because the vine didn't die back this winter. And then this I did not plant this year. It is Black-Eyed Susan vine. Wow, what a vigorous vine Black-Eyed Susan vine is, but how gorgeous is that? These beautiful yellow blooms. It does not bloom in the summer. It blooms a little bit in the spring, but it's not established enough in the spring. And so in the fall, it just really gets going. And this is nothing compared to what it will be coming up here. So it's a gorgeous vine, but it's kind of taking over. It's choking things out. This container, like the jasmine and the Black-Eyed Susan, were coming right in and choking all of these flowers out. So anyway, it's interesting. But I do love it, covering this fence. Over here, I do have clematis. Again, I can't find any of it right now because it's all kind of swallowed with the jasmine right now. Here we go. I do have some clematis back here, and at this point, I can't tell if it's the Sapphire Indigo clematis or the Jackmani clematis because I have both, and the Jackmani took off this year from bare root a year ago. So now it's like, I don't know what is what, but they are gorgeous, and hopefully they come back. They just did get swallowed. They got eaten by grasshoppers and swallowed alive by jasmine. So let's go back over here. Okay, this is Texas sage. Lovely Texas tough plant that I have managed to probably kill. It's not doing well. It may not survive the winter. That's okay. It's 5 years old, but I think they live a long time, so I don't think that's it. It's probably watering. I do water a lot just because of my other plants, and Texas sage doesn't like a whole lot of water. It is very drought tolerant. So if anything's going to take this plant in my garden, I'm going to say it's probably too much water. There's just kind of no way around, you know, not watering with the other plants I have with it. And so, you know, anyway, it likely will die back. It's given me some beautiful blooms this year, and that's actually the brown that you see. It bloomed about a month ago, and then it said, okay, I'm done. It's supposed to be evergreen. It's losing its leaves. It's probably on the way out. So sad about that, but it's the way it goes. Like, y'all, I'm real life with all of you. As gardeners, even the best of gardeners, and I'm not even saying I'm the best of gardeners, I'm not even close, however, but even the best of gardeners lose plants sometimes. Plants just, things happen, okay? And sometimes we can't control it, and that's one of them, and you just kind of, I take it as, well, now I have a chance to put something else in its place, you know? I did enjoy the Texas sage for what it was and for the beauty that it gave me when it was here, but I do think it's on its way out. I don't think it's going to survive. So let's go over here. Oh, this plant. Okay, Sunshine Ligustrum. This guy, I just majorly pruned it. If you see, I'll pop a picture of what it looked like before the major pruning. It was taking over this entire area. Like where my hands are circling, that's how large one Sunshine Ligustrum has gotten in 5 years. They're supposed to get 5 feet tall and wide, maybe? This guy is well over, or it was well over 8 feet tall, and then, you know, probably, yeah, an 8-foot circumference, no doubt. So it already was limbed up a little bit to here. I limbed it up even more. You can see it's trying to recover and send out all of these new branches right there, which I will not allow. Plus, in the winter, that will likely die anyway. All of this new growth, because I pruned it so heavily, is likely to get frostbitten when we start to get our frost. It's not recommended to heavily prune shrubs at this time of year, so don't do what I did. Do as I say, not as I do. However, sunshine ligustrum is extremely tough when you have a healthy plant. And it can take things like this. And I will get some burn in the winter time. All of this new growth is gonna get burned likely, but I needed to get it out. It was choking everything down here, and I just couldn't have that. And so, and it was starting to choke all of this. Like, it was coming well into these containers. That's why you see this bare spot on my container there, because the sunshine ligustrum is there. So here it is. I heavily pruned it. Last video, last garden tour, I asked you what you thought I should do, and I said I wasn't gonna super heavily prune it, but I did. I just, once I got going, I couldn't stop. But all of this has opened up now, and things that weren't getting sun are now getting sun. Coleus, limelight hydrangea, echinacea purpurea is down there, and a Texas sage, which didn't do well this season because it was completely shaded. So one thing that is suffering as a result, though, I planted burgundy glow ajuga around here, and it's slowly dying off because it's, I think, getting too much sun. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's talk about down here. I can actually get down here now, which is unbelievable. Let's see. Echinacea purpurea, like I said, doesn't like to grow in the shade, but it will, just so you know. I know that now. I've got some Confederate Star Jasmine, and then this crazy thing is coral honeysuckle, and it's a very vigorous vine. I'm not going to call it aggressive. I think someone yelled at me for calling it aggressive, but it is vigorous. Oh, I'm seeing purple hyacinth bean. I don't know why I'm just now seeing that. That's interesting. Either that or it's poison ivy, but I think that's purple hyacinth bean. I haven't been able to get down there just because it's been so crazy down there. And so anyway, that's a coral honeysuckle, maybe a volunteer purple hyacinth bean from last year. And let's see, I planted some daylilies down there, and they have made it, but again, like, they got a lot less sun than they like as well, and so they have survived, so that's good. The reason that they didn't get a whole lot of sun is because of this plant right here. This is Mexican sunflower, also known as Tithonia, and I planted one there and one there. Well, actually two, but I only think one didn't survive. And it's just gotten crazy. See how tall? Whoa! And that's after being knocked down several times. And then one of the limbs is going that way, and then it's blooming way over there. It's a lovely plant. Absolutely love these stunning huge flowers. Fluorescent in color, honestly. They are so vibrant that they are like a red-orange fluorescent, and they get like that right there is pushing 12 to 13 feet tall. The one drawback that I have is my garden is small. I do not have the space for what this plant needs. This plant can get, I would say, if allowed and trellised, it would get 12 feet tall and 6 feet wide. That's one plant will get that. we'll get that that tall and wide. But my garden can't really handle that, so you can see it's just coming out everywhere, and anywhere it will grow. And then in heavy rains, which the heavy storms that we've had have knocked them over, it bends the stems. So the last storm bent it here, and I just like cut that one completely back, and that part died off, but it grew again from the bottom just about, what, 8 weeks ago, and this is already 6 feet tall, this growth. So, you know, same thing with this one. This one, you know, the stems will break in heavy downpours, and then like your plant is done for a little while until it regrows. It's not dead, but it will regrow. And then this one was knocked over at least a couple months ago, and then a couple months of growth has brought it to 12 feet tall. So love this plant. I will say it is the best pollinator magnet plant I've ever grown, ever. And everything loves it. I had monarchs on this plant yesterday. I'll pop a picture on the screen for you. I've had hummingbirds. I've had Gulf fritillary butterflies. That's the butterfly that I have the most in my garden. They're just all over this all day long. Bumblebees, honeybees, everything. Loves this flower. The most amazing pollinator plant I've ever grown, like I said. But it's just too big. And so I did get some seeds from Park Seed. They're dwarf Mexican sunflower that are only supposed to get like 4 feet tall at most. We'll see. Oh my goodness. But anyway, lovely plant. And again, I'm going to get to these containers in just a sec. But let me talk about my favorite perennial vine, because it's putting on a little bit of a fall show for us. This is Tangerine Beauty Cross Vine. And it's evergreen. In the winter, it turns a little bit purpley color. It's actually already getting darker. Getting ready, because I think those cooler nights are helping it to turn colors. But some of the newer growth is bright green like this. So in the summertime, all this new growth is bright green. It's just, oh, I just love it. I have 4 of them here, and in spring this is covered in these blooms. You can't even see the green because of how like proliferous these blooms get. But it's putting on a little bit of a fall show, and I'm loving every moment of it. I love this perennial vine so much. I'm going to quickly walk through my side garden. These are part shade and shade plants because we don't get a whole lot of sun. This is going to change pretty dramatically. I really want to just take these canna lilies out because they overpower everything. I have amaryllis growing in here. I have a foxglove. I have blanket flower, which does not do well in part sun because it becomes kind of a ground cover. Same with this Greg's Mist flower. I have Greg's Mist flower, but it's not enough sun for it, so it becomes kind of a ground cover over here. I have volunteer zinnias. This is kind of just the wild garden, y'all, because I can't get back here too often. I have a boxwood, which I'm contemplating taking that out. It just doesn't fit. I do have a peony, y'all, and it's, fungal spot. Greg's Mist flowers kind of trying to grow in there, but there's my peony. I have a basil grown from seed with Greg's Mist flower in it. This is crazy. This is so cool. I didn't even notice this, but this basil just makes it smell so good back there. I have plumbago ceratostigma trying to grow in here that I transplanted from my other garden. This daylily, my puppy comes down off of our porch right here, and so this poor daylily kind of is getting, smushed, and so are those amaryllis. But anyway, this is a beautiful peach daylily. I have purple winter creeper coming in there. This plant is getting taken out today. This is rose mallow, and it just, it's one of those plants that doesn't bring me a whole lot of joy, and I have a lot of problems with it. Grasshoppers, pests, all kinds of things. And so I'm taking it out, and I'm going to be putting one of my Mystic Spires blue salvias in its spot. And I might put another one right there. This might just all be Mystic Spires. I don't know, because then they'll take over that daylily. So I'm going to put something else smaller over there in the place of that boxwood. But that's my plan. And then moving on, I have a row of hydrangeas, Hydrangea macrophylla. Some bigger than others. They all started the same size, but I think they get different amounts of sun. And so anyway, that's what they're looking like right now. They're just kind of in survival mode. Full shade back here. I have a heuchera here. That one is I think caramel is what it's called. I have another one here that is called onyx. Ooh, I need to get this staked back over here. Hold on. It's not getting the water that it probably needs. That might be why it's struggling a little bit. And there's a fine. Anyway, that's onyx, heuchera, and then this one is Georgia peach. And again, the Hydrangea macrophylla. Coming over here, that's a begonia that's actually doing really well. But right behind it is a beautiful pink Turk's cap. pink Turk's cap really comes into season in late summer, fall, for me anyway. And the pink one. I haven't grown the red one, but they are an awesome Texas tough plant, perennial, and it's kind of trying to take over as well. I have a peach daylily under there, but getting swallowed a little bit. But that pink Turk's cap is looking absolutely gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. And then, oh, look at that. That is an oak leaf hydrangea. This is supposed to be a dwarf oak leaf hydrangea. I think it's not. It was supposed to be 5 feet tall and wide. I am 5 feet tall, and it's 1.5 feet at least taller than I am. So this is a 6.5 foot oak leaf. Ooh, I need to pull some of the foliage there, but really, really beautiful. This is dwarf Alice in Wonderland oak leaf, and this is only 2 years in the ground. This October, actually. Just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I love it so much. And then coming over here, I have a Mexican petunia. Looks like it's falling, actually. It is. It's reaching. It's not getting enough sun back here is what it is. I want to transplant this to where my Mexican sunflower is. It's a really great plant. It can take over, but here it is not, because it's not thriving in this shady location. I have an autumn fern down there that I thought died but didn't, so that's kind of exciting. And that's my side garden. Okay, let me take you through my containers just really quickly. I'm not going to go into huge depth with these guys, but I've got eucalyptus that I was given by my friend Kendall. Gorgeous. This this is my limelight hydrangea propagation pot because it just works every single year for me, and I'm just going to stick with what works. But I got 3 to propagate this year, so if you want some more information on how to propagate these, click on the link in the right hand corner, because I do have a video about how I do that. But I got 3 of these limelights to propagate. That's fun and great because I lost one this year. Here is a little lime that was propagated last year, and they just love this location. Believe it or not, this is morning shade, afternoon sun for the most part. So go figure. I don't understand it, but they're doing pretty well. And I even have a little bit of pink color on this one. So, and like a new panicle that started there, which is weird. I have some gomphrena in that location, gomphrena globosa. This is kind of a new fall-ish container for me. These seeds I started a couple months ago, and these are just pinwheel zinnias, double hot cherry, profusion zinnias, and buddy purple gomphrena, as well as amaranthus, love lies bleeding. So those are popped in there. I think that's a cute little fall container. This one is Russian sage. I didn't have enough room for it in my new garden, so I'm growing it in a container. Oh, this one was Rudbeckia and Ageratum. Rudbeckia died. All of my Rudbeckia always dies. I do not know why. Really got some white fly and powdery mildew. Anyway, yeah. Oh, let's take that out. So I cut that out. Ageratum is still going, but not thriving. As well as this one. This is about to be taken out. This is Gomphrena globosa in 2 different colors, the dark purple and the light pink. And I did not trellis it, which I have learned I'm going to trellis them from now on. But this definitely is done for the season. I can collect some seeds from some of these flower heads, which I have done already, and call it a season. This is Blue Days of Ovulus. Here is one that I'm going to find someone who wants it. I'm done with this one. Again, if it doesn't bring me joy, it's not worth my effort and my time. I'm just going to be honest. But this is what it's supposed to, well, it's not even supposed to look like this. This is Summer Carnival Hardy Hibiscus. And it's supposed to have variegated leaves, all the things. It just 2 or 3 years old, never has thrived. Never. It doesn't seem to like the heat of Texas when hardy hibiscus is supposed to. The I think it was grafted onto a regular hardy hibiscus. And so the regular graft, like the roots, have come back and seem to be doing really well right now. However, like the original part of the plant is just done. And so, and it has wild purslane growing. Hi, Chloe. Anyway, this is going to be given away to somebody who wants it. I have a strawberry container there. I've got some fungal things going on, which is typical this time of year. I've got a balloon flower plant in here that's done for the season. This one is my Gomphrena globosa that I trellised, doing so much better. But now that I'm looking at it, it definitely needs some nutrients. The poor thing, but it's still flowering. Yeah, I stopped fertilizing this a while ago. I'm just thinking about that. So it's definitely telling me that it still needs nutrients if it's going to continue to do well. But look at that color, just gorgeous. I have Verbena bonariensis here, which I told you before. I'm going to plant that, I think, here. I think that will look good. This plant is the rock star right now. This is its time of year. It is Mr. Goodbud sedum and looking really good. This is my desert rose, which got heavily pruned 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And so, yeah, it's doing pretty good. Look at that codex. It's beautiful. There is another Gomphrena container, again, kind of done. This is my herb container. This is apple mint. I had lemon thyme and oregano here as well. And then this one is also doing fabulous. I hope you, ooh, look at that glow. Wow. Okay, so this is Black-eyed Susan planted in this container and trellised up. I wanted to see how that would look in a container and how it would do. This is from spring to now, and again, just it bloomed a little bit for me in spring, but putting on a really heavy show now that it's fall. Do you guys see that baby lizard? It's a baby anole. Hi. Oh, he's so cute. Anyway, really great for a container plant, honestly. And then it's not trying to take over anything, which I like. So that's lovely. And then here we go. This is my plumeria. Thank you, Peggy, for gifting me this lovely plumeria tree. And I have one more right over there with the sun shining through those leaves. I will take them in once our temperatures start getting into probably the early 40s. Really quick, I have some seedlings growing here of my desert rose. This one is 2 years old. It's putting on another show of flowers. The flowers are white on this one. My original desert rose is pink, and then I got a seed pod, grew this starting 2 years ago, and it's a white flower. And then this seedling is 1 year old, doing good. And then this is another 1 year old seedling, kind of a double trunk. It's really cool, but they're doing well. Here is another container that I have. Foxtail fern does fabulous here in North Texas. For me, it does not winter over. I'm more on the border of zone 8A. Some of you in zone 8B can get these to overwinter in the ground, so that's really cool. But it's mixed in with some Tradescantia zebrina and some Confederate Star Jasmine that's growing up my pole. And then coming over here, I haven't planted this, but this is Fairy Trail Fresco, a new proven winner's plant for 2026. I was able to get this as a quart size, transplant it into a gallon. It is already kind of grown into that gallon size, which is amazing. And I can't decide whether to plant it in this pot or to try to get some larger hanging baskets, 13 inches or greater, and try this as a hanging basket. I don't know. I haven't decided, but these guys are cascading, trailing hydrangeas. So excited to see this for the fall. This will be, the blooms will be either blue or pink, depending on the acidity, but I just haven't quite decided. This plant isn't a proven plant yet, especially as a hanging basket. So yeah, I think I'm going to plant it in this container this year. I've just decided I'm going to plant it in this container this year, and then I'm going to try different plants for hanging baskets. But if this one does really, really well, I may try one as a hanging basket next year and see how that overwinters. But that's what that is. All right, so here I come onto my front porch. since I did not get to my container garden tour last year, let's mainly talk about the containers. So I have a 3-tier planter on my front porch, and it's doing fabulous. This is, I think it's called lace leaf fern, but it's doing awesome. It's getting some morning sun. I have some regular ajuga. I have some coleus right here. This one is a proven winner's fishnet stockings. And then this is my favorite coleus I've ever grown. This one is called Coloca Rose, grown from seed from Baker's Creek heirloom seeds. I will say it's very hard to germinate. It's very slow growing, but once it gets going, it's the most beautiful coleus ever. Look at those scalloped and ruffled leaves, and then the color is just outstanding. I have a foxtail fern, a heuchera, and another ajuga. Then I have, one of these is dragon wing begonia and one of these is canary wing begonia. I don't remember which is which. They kind of look the same. So there's a pink remnant bloom of this one. It's not really currently blooming, but this one is. Kind of a red bloom there, brighter green leaf on that one, just absolutely gorgeous. Another foxtail fern, and then these guys need to get transplanted to my new garden, but some liriope and some beautiful little hosta that my friend Stacy gave me, and I've been keeping them here. Again, you guys, don't be concerned about this. Hosta goes dormant this time of year. It just happens. I'm not concerned about that in any way, but anyway, it looks great there. And I'm honestly contemplating keeping it, but oh, let's not forget about this Carex. Again, I had planned on planting this, but I might just put it in a bigger pot and keep it here because I love it here. I get to see it like every day as I walk out the door, and it's just a great plant. And then I have a begonia there. Coming around, here are two of my favorite containers that I have. Please excuse the hose mess. I did not curl that back up. I think, that's life. But anyway, this is a variegated lace cap hydrangea. Absolutely gorgeous. It bloomed for me for the first time this year. They were gorgeous blooms, but the rest of the year it just still looks unbelievable. It's an amazing plant. And yes, it is in a container. You just can't tell anymore. And then coming over here is my oldest hydrangea. It is 14 years old. It is a big leaf hydrangea, endless summer hydrangea. And this is what it looks like if you keep the blooms on. These blooms are from the spring, and then as they age, they turn green, and then they turn pink, and they will turn a darker magenta color as we get into November and December. But look, from here it's pink, from here it's green. Isn't that cool, y'all? I just love it. And then this is a newer bloom. Coming over here, one Gerbera daisy, one, and it's huge, and it's only 2 years in this container. It's just absolutely stunning, beautiful, giving me some blooms here in the fall, and yeah, this definitely could be divided, and I have thought about that to put in my new garden bed as well. If that one echinacea doesn't make it, then I'll divide this, and I'll put part of the Gerbera daisy there. And then coming over here, this is an Encore Autumn Sunset Azalea, and it is starting to bloom as it should in the autumn. I do have, lots of buds coming up. Not as much as I had hoped, but I think as the fall goes on, I'll get more and more of them, but it's doing really well. And then I have this Swedish ivy in a topiary, and it will be evergreen throughout the winter time. So it's been here for a few years, and I love it because it gives me winter interests. And then coming over here, oh man, Tradescantia zebrina. This is in a pot on a flower stand, and you can't really see it on a pot stand. But this is a houseplant that I bring out every year, and so it will not survive the winter, so I'll bring it in and overwinter it inside as a houseplant and then bring it back out because it just absolutely loves this location. It's amazing. And then Swedish ivy is planted down below along with a dianthus, so that's blooming too. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to point out, I'm going to show you in just a moment, but I have a black-eyed Susan vine on the other side of this pillar, and it's starting to wrap around and it's blooming. Absolutely gorgeous. I love my porch, y'all. It's just so peaceful out here. It's amazing. Coming into my garden, let's look at this side first. I have some pots. This is blanket flower, which is struggling right now. And I'm thinking about taking that out and transplanting it into, actually it could go where I said I would put the Verbena bonariensis. But, you know, still flowering for me, even though the foliage doesn't look great. Probably lacking nutrients is what it is. And then I have potato vine there that's going crazy, which it always does in the fall. I have some mums. Admittedly, I need to deadhead them. They were blooming earlier for sure. Some creeping Jenny. And then this planter is 4 different succulents that are like super, super heat tolerant. Never tried growing them before. And I cut 2 of them back. So I think this one is the portulaca. No, okay, so I'm glad I looked. Big bloom purslane right here. Had to cut that back because it got real stringy. It was beautiful. It took off. And then this one's the portulaca. Sundial portulaca is over here. So that's one of the portulaca blooms, I think. Yes, portulaca bloom. This one is not really, the purslane's not really blooming right now. This plant took a long time to overwinter, but this is dew plant. And I love, love, love the look of this. And now that it's cascading, I love it even more. It's just not flowering right now, but it took a while and now it's finally taking off. And then this is ice plant, this back one. And so it's got a more bluish color and it's filling in everywhere. As a matter of fact, that is an ice plant bud right there. So it has those purple buds, but really, really pretty. So here's my front garden here in fall 2025. And it looks better than I think my fall garden has ever looked, honestly. So I have, and they're getting tired. I get that. And they needed to be deadheaded. I get that. But these are all dwarf zinnias. It's a variety of pinwheel zinnias, double hot cherry profusion zinnias, and Zahara zinnias. And it's just a mixture of all of these that I grew from seed. They're doing fantastic. There's Gomphrena back here, which is taking over. There's a little bit of other zinnias back here. I have some dianthus that's starting to bloom that the Gomphrena is covering. It's crazy. I do have some echinacea back there. But yeah, you can't tell because of the Gomphrena. I did have some lemon balsedum around here. I've also got black-eyed Susan vine coming in. Again, I did not plant this, but I did last year. And so this black-eyed Susan vine, I just pulled a bunch of it out, but I missed some of it. But this is more Gomphrena. I love that look of the Gomphrena back there. You could see more of the black-eyed Susan vine. That is a hedge of sunshine ligustrum that, again, we just pruned that last week. Somewhat, it wasn't a heavy prune, but it was a decent prune. And again, I understand that I probably will get a little bit of winter burn, but it needed to be cleaned up before frost hit. So we definitely have some time for that plant to recuperate before we get our first frost. I have some ageratum, a little lamb. The ground cover here is variegated vinca. I also have some burgundy glow-ajuga, which also is dying back. Man, that's a bummer. I need to go and trim this away. But this is a vitex tree, which is sending up some shoots because it's a vigorous tree. But there's the vitex. Not currently in bloom. It's starting, you know, it's done for the season for the most part. And then back there is another one of my really large big leaf endless summer hydrangeas. This year, more than any other year, the blooms got a little bit burned, as you can see. And I think it's because I heavily pruned the vitex tree this year, and so it wasn't under as much shade. But it's still continuing to give me new blooms, just like this one. And they are pink. They could be blue if the soil was more acidic. Here's ones that kind of have survived, and you can see they're taking on that beautiful magenta color. And this one too. There's that one. They're just beautiful. This one has done so well in this location. It does get a little bit of afternoon or evening. I mean, it gets a little bit of evening sun. And so that's why you see this burn right there. So it just is what it is. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous planted under that vitex tree right there. All right, and then coming over here, I have a topiary, a 3-ball topiary, Carolina Sapphire Cypress. It has been in there 1 year exactly, and I just absolutely love. I got it for the color and also for the evergreen interest. We needed something that was going to stay green for us. The Sunshine Ligustrum stays evergreen, and this stays evergreen, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Growing behind it, I did not plant this year. It's black-eyed Susan vine and Carolina or Confederate Star Jasmine, but it's just going crazy. This part's not blooming really well. I'm not exactly sure why, but it will. As we get into like more fall temperatures, I know that it will bloom. But it was also taking over this Liriope that's down here, which is why you see some of this browning. I just pulled it out yesterday, so it's just finally able to breathe. I'm sure it's super happy now because it was covered with black-eyed Susan vine. And then coming over here, I have a row of boxwoods. These are baby gem boxwood, looking fabulous. And then I had a volunteer vinca as well. Here is our lovely grass. My husband David takes care of our grass. It is Palisades zoysia. David, do you want to be on camera?
Not at all.
He says no. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, he does a really great job with our lawn. It is absolutely beautiful. It's starting to slow down this season. Doesn't need to be mowed every weekend anymore, so that's really great, but it's just looking awesome. And then lastly, this is Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia in my curbside containers. And it's just, again, probably my second best pollinator plant I've ever grown. The reason why I say second best, this is more of a bee pollinator plant. And if I'm going to talk about bees specifically, then yes, this is number one, hands down, the best bee pollinator plant ever. And I will argue with anybody on that because there's 3 bees in the picture there. What's interesting is normally in the summertime, this is covered with bumblebees. Right now, this is covered by honeybees, and I'm not sure exactly why. There's probably 50 or more honeybees on this plant right now. And just absolute, and it's a rock star from spring all the way through fall. I did go ahead and deadhead this in mid-July. And then these are all of the blooms that came back from mid-July. Underneath it is Cascading Vinca. It's a great companion plant to Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia if you have it in a container, by the way. All other plants that I have tried have not been able to compete, but this one has. By growing down the side of the pot, it still gets the sun that it needs. But I am not going to keep these in this container this year. These are going to go. Probably that one. Again, as soon as our temperatures are not 90 degrees in the middle of the day, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it where that rose mallow was in my side yard. It'll get part sun after that, which I think it will still be able to take. It will be smaller and maybe less blooms, but it'll still be stunning. And then I've got this one, which I'm going to give away, I think. I just don't have space for it. And my neighbor really would love that. So I've told her that she can have one. And the Cascading Vinca has done a little bit better because this one hasn't been as vigorous for whatever reason this year. But yeah, it's just unbelievable. I believe this is an annual lower than zone 8. But I was able to get these to overwinter in the container in zone 8 this winter. So maybe it would work in zone 7. It might come back for you in the ground in zone 7. Otherwise, this is treated like an annual, but it's just a rock star. And I love the way that it frames my home in these curbside containers. So last view of my front garden. It is just looking so spectacular here in fall, but really kind of late summer because we still have summer temperatures. I'm so pleased with it. But thank you for coming along with me in this. I'm sure it's a really long tour. I just wanted to cover everything this month instead of splitting them up. But thanks for joining me. If you like what you saw, I put on monthly garden tour videos as well as other gardening videos all throughout. And so please subscribe. And I'd love to have you join. Please comment down below. Let me know how your garden is looking and what struggles you are having this fall. But again, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a fabulous day, everybody. Bye-bye.